Hi, guys, and welcome back to the LeLoni Grace podcast. Today, my guest is a mom of two. She's a homeschool mama, and she is a hairdresser. So, welcome, Haley.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so excited for this. So, Haley and I are actually going to be doing a two-parter. Today is going to be talking about her story and getting into this business. And then our second part is going to be about the product that we promote in our business.
Yeah, it's going to be so good.
Yeah, I'm really excited to dive into all the science and technology and all that stuff in the next episode. But today we're just going to get to know you a little bit.
Yay.
So why don't we start off your story a little bit? Where do you want to start?
Let's start with my mom, because my mom has been a huge inspiration, as most mothers are. And she's kind of the reason that opened my eyes to just living my life a little bit differently, making different choices. And especially once I had kids, that became very evident to me that I needed to protect them fiercely. So yeah, my mom was always a little bit more natural. Like, we still went to the doctor and for little things like that, but she always had a little remedy, a natural remedy for things. And it wasn't really until I had kids that I realized how important listening to our bodies really was. And my mom got sick when I was pregnant. I found out I was pregnant with my son in February. I told her that I was pregnant in March, and in April, my mom was diagnosed with terminal breast cancer. She was given a few months to live, and she ended up living like a year and a half, I think. She passed when my son was 8 months old. And this was all in the flame of COVID.
Oh my goodness. That is so tough.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
We were really blessed because my aunt took on care for my mom.
Oh, good.
So we were able to see her a lot. And then she eventually moved into hospice, and she was in hospice for about 6 weeks, I think, before she passed. And the COVID restrictions were kind of lessening at that time. So we were able to spend a lot of time with her.
Okay.
In hospice, which was really good.
Yeah, because during COVID, that was crazy. They had such strict regulations.
We did not vaccinate for COVID, and so we
weren't allowed.
We weren't allowed anywhere.
Yep, I know the feeling.
So yeah, it was nice that we were actually allowed to be there with her and all of that. But COVID was also honestly a huge eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I did not feel comfortable injecting something into my body that was so new. And then that transpired into my tiny baby. And my mom, when I told her I was pregnant, she was really strongly trying to convince me not to vaccinate my son.
Good.
And I was very of the mind that they are safe and effective until I started doing my research. And so that was, because I was like, why are you telling me this? These medical professionals are saying that it's good. And she kept telling me, I wish I never would have vaccinated you as a baby. I wish I knew what I knew now back then. And so I started doing my research. And honestly, the very first thing that I did with that was I went onto the Government of Canada's website. I found all the vaccines that were given to the babies, and I started reading the ingredients. And when I started reading the ingredients, I was just like, why are we putting other animals' DNA into our bodies? None of this makes sense to me, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. I read a couple of really good books about it too. I did do a very lax, I did one shot at a time for my son until he was about 9 months old, and I stopped altogether. And then it was just so many, once my eyes were open to that, my eyes started opening up to the things that are in our food, the materials in our clothing. There was just so many things that I'm like, this stuff isn't good. And honestly, it's just you follow the money trail and you realize that it's big corporations that want to line their pockets and they don't really care about us.
I love it when people start having these realizations, because I'm one of those mamas that, so I'm going to tell you a little story about me.
Yeah.
So my mom vaccinated my brother, who's 7 years older than me. And then she started vaccinating me. I got the whooping cough vaccine, and then I just about died of whooping cough. And she's like, okay, that doesn't add up. So then she started researching. And so then she didn't end up vaccinating my younger sister. And so then all my life, I grew up kind of hearing little bits and pieces about this. And then when I had my kids, I had to deep dive into it to convince my ex-husband not to vaccinate our kids. And yeah, it's just shocking what is in those vaccines.
Well, and even just the fact that like there's never been a single double-blind placebo trial that
Mm-hmm.
compares a vaccine to not a vaccine. The clinical trials are often the vaccine against another vaccine minus and a couple of ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that was huge. And hearing just like personal testimonies of people with vax and unvaxxed children and how much healthier their unvaccinated children are from their children, for me, that was also like a huge, and I see it even in my kids. Like my son isn't fully vaccinated, but his sickness always lingers a little tiny bit longer than my daughter. My daughter's never been to the doctor. We have a really great naturopath, so
Nice.
I usually go like that route, obviously, if I have any questions. But yeah, so that was hugely eye-opening for me. And I'm knowing that I had my mother's support in that, even though she wasn't here. And it wasn't just my mom. My aunt was a huge like inspiration for that as well. And she
Nice.
still tells me all the time like how proud she is of me of making those choices.
Uh-huh.
So that just like really solidified. It wasn't like I had people forcing me or like trying to make me feel bad about my decisions. I had
Mm-hmm.
the opposite of that on my side of the family, at least.
That's good.
And my husband was fully on board. Like he was fully on board too, which helped. He was like, "You are the one that's and now the funny thing is he'll come to me and be like, "I was just listening to this," or "I just heard this," and I'm like, "Yeah, I already know that. I told you." I'm happy that you're like aware of it now, though, too. But
Yeah.
having his support and everything was obviously a lot really helpful.
Yeah.
But then, so yeah, then it came to like everything else. It came down to like the materials in our clothing. Like, why are we wearing polyester? Like, that's plastic on our skin. And I know that there's like some things you can't get away from that.
Yeah.
But it was just like little tiny conscious decisions that will keep us healthy in the long run. And like, my mom was not super healthy. She tried, but her story reminds me a lot of you, actually. My mom had
Uh,
back pain and had back surgery that never really fully like made her feel better. And so she would
yeah.
have really good days and really bad days and like really good months, weeks, whatever, right? And when she felt really good, she was very creative and very inspiring. And she would get on like a health kick where she was, doing keto, where she was going to start walking. And that would last until she had a crash and she'd have a bad day. And then she'd kind of like
Yeah.
relapse again. So growing up like that, well, now that I'm a mom and have my own kids, being able to mirror them like healthier choices to me is huge, because I know that my mom tried, but her like chronic pain always kind of took over. And I know that that's not something that you can help, but I
Yeah.
want to try to mirror super healthy choices for my children, and not just being like working out to be skinny or not eating sugar to be skinny. It's like, we're making these choices because we're eating this way because it nourishes our body. We're lifting weights so that we can be strong and our bones are strong so that when we fall, they don't break.
Mm-hmm.
Little things like that. And so anyways, when I saw Lisa posting about this business, like, I am a stay-at-home mom and my goal in life has always been to homeschool my children. And that became kind of stronger through COVID and stuff too. I wouldn't say actually that my goal was always to homeschool my children, but having a baby through COVID really was like eye-opening for that. So yeah, and then when all of that started kind of rolling into place, this feeling of like, ooh, I know that I'm doing the biggest job in the world, but not supporting my house financially kind of started to weigh in the back of my brain. And my husband, I know that he would never have like forced me to get a job, but he would make little comments about that. Like, what would you do if you were to go back to work?
Mm.
And I would always just say, like, I don't know, because I am working. Like, I'm raising
Yeah.
our children, I'm teaching our children, and he would agree with me. But like in the back of my head, I was like, I know that he wants to be home more. I
Mm-hmm.
know that he works really hard. My husband owns a construction business in town, and he works, he's out of the door at 7 a.m. and he's home around 4:30. But he has his job is stressful and he cares a lot about his job as well. My husband does need to work, so it's not that like I want to retire him fully, but if I could take a little bit of that financial responsibility off of him. But I'm like, how do I do that when I'm homeschooling my children and I'm not willing to give that up?
Yeah.
And so I saw Lisa posting, I don't even know, honestly, I saw it 2 or 3 times of her posting about this like little business that she had started. And I've known Lisa for a number of years, and I knew that she wouldn't do something that was, I was like, she's not selling anything. And so we chatted about it, and she was like, honestly, it's right up your alley. It's health and wellness. Hop on
Yeah.
the Zoom call. And so I was like, okay, like I got nothing to lose, right? And so I
Yep.
did. And as soon as she mentioned the product, which I was familiar with, I was like, I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
I need that. Okay. I knew I could never convince my husband to spend that kind of money on a water filtration system. It's so much
Mm-hmm.
more than that. But, like, I knew that that's how he would view it. And
Yeah.
so having a business tied into it, it was just a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it fits so perfectly into your lifestyle with all the changes that you've already been making. And then to add this water into it is just amazing.
Well, and I thought I knew what it was, and the more that I've learned about it now, I'm just like, it's so much more than just hydrogen water. The cleaner that we use in our household now, and like I water my plants with it, I spray my hair with it. Like there's so many products that it replaces, which I love.
Yeah,
Because you're kind of saving money in that way too, right? Like you're not spending,
absolutely.
not buying all these toxic chemicals. And yeah, it's just my kids love it. Like they love filling up their water bottles every morning. And my kids, like, knock on wood, my counter's concrete, so we're gonna. My kids have not been sick at all this year.
Amazing.
And I think it has to be the water. That's the only thing that we've changed. I got sick in like October. I got like a really bad cold, and I don't think my husband's gotten sick, but everybody around us is sick, and it's like a long lingering cold. And I'm like, the only thing we've changed is this water.
That's so cool.
I don't know if that's what it is, but like that's the only thing that I can think
Could
of.
very well be.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
my daughter goes to preschool 2 days a week, and so she's surrounded by other little germy kids,
Mm-hmm.
and my son goes to like a 1 day a week homeschool kind of program. So he's surrounded by a bunch of other kids. They're
Yeah.
exposed to germs, but we haven't gotten sick.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
And then it's really cool that you are able to show your kids that you can be an entrepreneur and have this business on the side while you're home taking care of them, running the house.
totally. And that's what I think is really cool about this business as well, is that it doesn't require a lot from you. And it's for anybody. It's for anybody if you're, whether you're at home or you have a job that you love, this business will work for you because it doesn't require a whole lot. And you can work from anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you want something that travels with you and you can still earn money while you're on a holiday?
Yeah.
Or if you do get sick or you have another baby or whatever, like this business is just always going to be there, whether you're actively pursuing it or it's like quietly in the background.
So do you try to do most of your work when your kids are out of the house, or how do you fit it into your life?
A lot of it is I try to do a little bit in the morning and a little bit at night, and then they'll do a little bit of quiet time in the afternoon. So yeah, it's kind of wherever I can fit it in. Like today, my kids are both away, so this is great that I have this like actual quiet time. But yeah, it does. It just fits so perfectly. When I first wake up in the morning, I set my vibe for the day and I do my little collages. And my kids
Those are
actually
so
like
cute.
helping me with that too.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
that's fun. And then we do our homeschool and what other activities that we have to do. And then, kind of while they're eating lunch, or like I said, our little quiet time in the afternoon, I've started a Bible study, which is new for me. So I do that in the afternoon, and then I try to tie like a little bit of work in if they're still playing nicely when I'm done.
Yeah,
So it works really well.
that's awesome. And you and I have talked a little bit about God and faith and stuff, and your mom really influenced that as well, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. It was actually like I grew up going to church
Mm-hmm.
for from a young age to kind of like a teen, right? 15, 16, somewhere in there. And then church and God and everything just was like too cool, or I was too cool for it or something.
Yeah.
And, but my mom and my aunt as well, like she was a huge influence in my life. That's my mom's sister. We're both very faith driven. My mom I don't know if she didn't actively go to church, but I think she had like a church that she watched on TV and that kind of thing. But when my mom got sick, this was something that was really, really hard for me because I did not have a relationship with God at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I like remember kind of getting a little bit mad with her about it, but my mom wholeheartedly believed that God was going to save her. So this was really hard because I had a new baby and my mom never wanted to talk about her dying because she believed that she was not going to die and it was in
Yeah.
God's hands. And she prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed. And that was really, really hard for me because I didn't believe. And I kept trying to say to her, like, maybe your doctor telling you that you should do radiation is God's way of saying you should do radiation.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, no, she was so dead set against it. She's like, but now that I can reflect back on it, her faith kept her so positive and so strong. There is no way that I feel like even now that I could have a diagnosis like that and remain as faithful and as strong as she was. My mom never showed me fear. She
Wow.
never showed any uncertainty. She was going to live and God was going to save her. And she passed away, it'll be 5 years in July. And it took me until September when Charlie Kirk was shot. That was when everything
Oh,
changed for me.
yeah.
And I had like an awakening, like everything. It just like shook me to my core. And I was
Yep.
like, my mom was saved. She was not saved in the way that I wanted her to be saved. But it dawned on me, I was like, she's in the best freaking place that she can be right now. And
Yep.
it just like reignited this fire in me that I knew that I was doing what I was called to do. Every single choice that I've made for my children was the right one. And my son, the funny thing of it all is that my son is enrolled with Heritage Christian School.
Okay. Yeah.
And when I signed him up, I said to our teacher, we had like a teacher assistant to our online program. And I said to her, we are not religious in any way, but I believe in the core values of like being kind to one another, treating others how you want to be treated. You have a mom and a dad. And I think that like having a family unit like that is huge. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
something that is like so many parents are divorced. And I know that life happens, but I think that, having a strong family unit is something that's really missing
Yeah,
in our
absolutely.
world. And so yeah, I just said to her, I was like, we believe in the core values, but we are not religious. And she never like said anything to it. She goes, that's great. That's fine. It is what it is. One of the curriculum requirements is like Bible study and that kind of thing. And she's like, you just do what that looks like for you. It doesn't have to be you reading the Bible, talking about learning about different religions or talking about like a faith in something, a belief in a higher power, whatever that is. She's like, that can all be covered in that. And so we were like 2 weeks into school to kindergarten when Charlie Kirk was assassinated, right? Like,
Wow.
and I remember sending her an email being like, we're switching gears here. And
Wow.
she came over to my house a couple of days later and she had a Bible for my son and a bunch of
Oh.
like Bible story books and everything I have never in my life, even when I was young, from what I can remember, felt called by God. And I was just having all of these feelings and God talking to me. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I get it. I understand when people say that because I am experiencing this now. Kind of the first, I guess that was a huge thing. But the next big thing was I had to go just for a routine. I think it was an MRI. There was some, whatever. It wasn't a big deal. But I had to go for this MRI and I wasn't looking forward to it. And when I got to the hospital, they told me I needed the dye that they put in you.
Yep,
And
I've had that.
I was like, I don't want that. I don't know what it is. Like, I got really anxious in that moment, and I hadn't been prior to that, but I laid down on the machine. She's like, we're going to do a couple of scans to see if we need it first.
Hmm.
She's like, you most often do need it, but we'll just do a couple scans and see what we can see, and then we'll give you the dye. And I laid down on that table and I was like, God, if you are there, I do not want this dye, and if I have to have it, please protect me from, like, detox it from my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the bed for 5 minutes, and she comes back and she goes, you're good. We don't
Wow.
die. And I was like, holy crap, okay, like, thank you, God. Thank you for protecting me in this moment. And so it's just been like so many little tiny things like that. And meeting you, and so, there's so many other women on our team that are so strong in their faith. And I'm like, it's an awakening, really. And it just makes me so happy.
I'm so happy for you. Yeah, God is the reason that I'm still like positive through my entire journey, because let me tell you, there are days that I do not want to keep going. And
Oh, I
every
believe
morning
it.
I wake up and I'm like, thank you, God, for another day that I am alive.
Yeah, it is really like, I feel like it's really taboo in some social circles to talk about God and having a faith in that. But I think that it's such a beautiful thing when you have those kind of experiences, or you realize that your life is so beautiful and it could end at any moment. And when you have been in a really low point in your life, but you pick your way out, and you know that you have that faith that it wasn't just you didn't do it alone, speaks volumes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then now knowing that your mom's in heaven and she's got a brand new body and she's not in pain anymore, like, oh,
I can't wait to get there.
right?
I don't want to die, but I can't wait to, my kids talk, well, my son's especially, because he was alive and we have photos and videos of them together a little bit. And he talks about her all the time. And it's like
Oh,
equally heartbreaking, because I want to, I want them to have a relationship, right? And my daughter too. Like, I wish that she could have experienced my mom.
yeah.
Knowing that we will see her again is just like, it just makes me so happy. And I'm like, I now cannot wait to go to heaven.
No kidding.
And there's so many other people as well, like, that I've lost that have been important in my life, that I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm excited because I'm going to see you again.
Yeah. And I can also just imagine your mom rejoicing when you finally had that come to God moment too.
Oh, 100%. I actually drove, my aunt lives about an hour away, and I drove to her house one day, and I was like, we're going to come down and see you today, because we hadn't seen her in a while. And I was like, I have something I want to talk to you about. Because for years my aunt has told me, like, I'm praying for you and I'm praying that you find God. And I would roll my eyes and be like, yeah, okay, like, whatever. And so I went down there, and the kids were playing, and we sat and had, we were having tea, and she goes, okay, tell me, what is it? And she's like, wait, let me guess, you're pregnant. And I was like, no. And she was like, I didn't think so, but I get that. I just wanted to get that off the table. And then she goes, you found Jesus. And I just burst
Oh,
into tears, and I was like, I think so. Like, we're on the path. And she was just over the moon. And she tells me all the time now, like, how she's like, I just can't believe how quickly you've grasped this and all of these little things. And even my kids, like, my son will say something to me about God, or like whatever, and it's just so sweet. Like, the kids, right? Like, we are
yeah.
children of God, and I think when you're a child, like, you're just so innocent and you just understand it so much.
Yeah.
Her and my kids, yeah, they love it. My daughter, like, when I bring out my Bible, she sits down and she goes, I want to pray with you, and she, like, puts her head
Oh,
out, and it's so sweet. And I don't think she knows what we're doing, but it's sweet.
I love that. It's so good to have those values instilled in our kids, like right from the beginning.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because I know I had it, and I know that I had to kind of find my own path, but I'm hoping that, yeah, because of their schooling and whatever else, I'm hoping that it sticks with them. So we'll see.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we have to lead by example, and I think that's huge.
Yeah. Where's your husband on the whole faith thing?
He is interested, and he's not resistant to it. It's interesting because when my husband and I first met, we had many conversations about how, like, organized religion is kind of a scam. It's all right, like, it's all
Yeah.
based on one thing, and everybody thinks that their religion is the best. And all the power to you. If you have something that you believe in, good. But I'm like, that's for me too. I have found something that I believe in, that I resonate with so strongly, and it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And so he, we haven't, like, really sat down and openly talked about, like, our faith or where we're at with that. But we talk about it, and he is not against it. He actually, it's quite interesting because a lot of podcasts that my husband loves podcasts, so a lot of podcasts that he listens to have started to be more faith-based.
Nice.
We've listened to Tucker Carlson since he started his podcast, but there's so
Mm-hmm.
many like Christian guests that he has on as well, and my husband listens to all of it and comes to me with like, oh, da 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 da, or da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. And it's interesting too, like in our group, the people that are either appearing or just openly are like, oh yeah, we go to church. And I'm like, I would have never known.
Wow.
And so I think that's really cool too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to kind of see how this blossoms for us.
I'm excited to see it too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so great. Does he listen to Joe Rogan at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're
He's
big
got
Joe
some good
Rogan.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's such a good interviewer, and gets such a unique assortment of people on his platform as well.
Totally.
And actually, I woke up at like 2 a.m. this morning and could not fall back asleep. And I opened up Spotify on my phone, and Gary Brecka, are you familiar with him? So he's like biohacking, that kind of thing. He had a podcast with his son that they just released, and his son did like this world marathon thing. He ran
Oh,
7
wow.
marathons in 7 days on 7 continents.
Wow.
Never ran a marathon before.
Oh my goodness.
And you know what? He had a lot of issues, obviously, as you would. But he said his body never hurt. His body
Wow.
muscles never hurt, and it's because he was drinking hydrogen water.
Of course.
And I'm just like, oh, I love this. So yeah, I obviously never fell asleep. I was up for like because I was like, I gotta listen to this. And then he just ran a 100-mile run, and he said same thing, like never had an ache or a pain in his
Wow.
muscles in his body because he drank hydrogen water the whole time. And I've noticed it too, like in my own body. Like I think a little bit of aches and pains when you're working out is good because it shows that you're like building muscle and you're doing something.
Yeah.
But I have noticed insane recovery. I cycle, I ride a road bike, I'm getting into mountain biking, and like I do a lot of hiking with my kids, and we're very active. And I pre hydrogen water, I would like some of the things that I do, even just like a simple bike ride, I would be hurting the next day, or like
Yeah.
hurting going up and down the stairs, that like feeling of, oh, my legs feel like jello. I don't have that anymore. Like,
That's amazing.
yeah, it's so cool. So it's just such a great tool. Like we need water to survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we drink water that is actually doing something for us versus depleting us?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, Gary Brecka's been talking about hydrogen water for years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I
And then
love that it's definitely becoming more mainstream.
yeah, totally. Yeah, because I had heard about it for years and years. And then, yeah, when Lisa introduced me to the product, I had already heard about the water filter. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah, this is a really cool product that I can totally get behind.
yeah, yeah, and it's so great. Like, there's so much that I didn't know about it. I had no idea that the company had been around for like 50 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's a medical grade device, which is super cool. Like, I admire Japan for a lot of things, and it's like on my bucket list to travel there.
Yeah.
But just their whole medical system, like they use that
Oh,
machine
it's
in their
crazy.
hospitals, and I
Yep.
just think that's so cool. And Western medicine, while it has its time and a place, could learn so much from like other cultures and even like our ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before modern medicine, sure, there was a lot of disease, but actually, hygiene changed a lot of things. Was it Florence Nightingale? Was she the nurse that started telling doctors that they needed to like wash their hands in between patients? Proper hygiene, and that changed hugely,
No kidding.
right? They just didn't know it, I guess.
That's
But
crazy to think
it changed
about.
a lot of things too, right? It wasn't just like
Yeah.
modern medicine that made people less sick. It was hygiene for sure. And
Mm.
I
Well, it's crazy, like, to think that they used to use like cotton sheets in hospitals and sunlight and
like,
air and like all these
And now we're taught to like fear the sun and be inside all day and
Yeah. And
wonder
inject
why
ourselves
all
with a bunch
these,
of chemicals
yeah,
and take all the medication.
and wonder why you're so sick all the time. And
Yep. Well, I think this is kind of a perfect segue into ending this episode. And next
absolutely.
time we can pick up on a little bit
Yeah.
more of the medical side of things, which
Yeah.
I'm super excited about. So let's end this by telling everyone where they can find you online.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram at Richly Rooted Collective. I'm also on Threads, I think under the same name.
Yeah, I think so. Perfect. I'll have that in the show notes. And I look forward to having you back in a
Awesome.
couple of
Thank you.
weeks.
Me too. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.